Rachel from Garden for Cheap, and today I want to show you something that I built. It's like a two-tier step, I think is what it's called. It's for your pots and containers and whatever. And that wind's blowing my hair, it's driving me crazy. It's got a little bite to it. 64, but it feels a little chillier in the shade, but in the sun you get hot quick. But anyway, I digress. I container garden to a point. I mean, I have my raised beds, and I'm going to build more raised beds. But I do some container gardening. I do my potatoes, carrots. I think last year I did cantaloupe, and I don't know, just little odds and ends. Some of my herbs. But with the container sitting on the ground, I was having a problem with fire ants. I was also having a problem with tree roots growing up into the containers, and my roommate suggested that maybe I should build some steps, and that way I can put all the pots on there, keep them off the ground. So of course, good old Pinterest, went and looked for some ideas that were affordable that maybe I could throw together pretty cheap and quickly, and I found one that's cinder blocks and 2x4s. Now you can paint the cinder blocks, you can paint your 2x4s and stuff like that. But I did get an extra 4 cinder blocks to turn upside up, so I'd have planting holes that I planted strawberries in. But you can plant anything. But anyway, we'll give you a tour of what it looks like, and I'll give you updates throughout the summer on how well they do. But I also got some footage of me putting it together, and I won't bore you to death doing it regular speed. I'll speed it up and put some music behind it, but it'll give you a general idea. If you have any questions, you can throw them down in the comments, and I'll be happy to explain anything in better detail if need be. I'm going to show you the shade cloth that I kind of put up. I'm trying to harden off some of my little seedlings that are not ready to plant, but not quite. I have to harden them off first. And it's March 20th here. Our last chance for frost supposedly is March 21st. So it's getting closer to put some things on the ground, even though some things I haven't even started seeds yet. I'm kind of behind. But be that as it may, I needed some kind of shade because that sun was just beating down, and I needed a place to put my plants. So I'll show you what that looks like too in this video. So here we go. Hope you like it. I needed shade for my seedlings because I'm trying to harden them off, and the sun just beats down on the back patio. So what I do, take some weed fabric, put it up there. Isn't that a cool idea? Cost $1 at the Dollar Tree. I already had the tacks in it. I put tape because the ends up here, the cloth is so thin, it rips through. But if you put a piece of duct tape on it, it gives more strength to it. And just use thumbtacks. But yep, that's my little shade thing for my seedlings. Alright, now let's go check out the two-tier step for the pots. Now that we've checked out the shade fabric / weed barrier thing. Thingamajigger. There you go. Alright, come on. Alright, here we go. I don't know what you call it besides a two-tier step pot planter. But you can see on the front one, I have my 2 buckets for potatoes. The spaces that are empty are going to have carrot buckets, at least one. And these are my 20-gallon or 20 to 25 gallon that have my potatoes in it. Never mind the wheelbarrow behind it. From the porch you can't see it. In these holes I put in some fabric, just basically to help retain moisture because it gets so hot here in Texas. And I planted strawberries, but of course you could plant anything, herbs, flowers, whatever your heart desires, as long as the roots aren't too deep. But you can see how I kind of glued the cinder blocks together just a little bit. That way, the dog can't knock it off, or future grandkids can't come over and get hurt with it. You could even put a board in between the 2x4s to connect them to make it even tighter, but for me there was no need in it. And I want to be able to move it. That's why I didn't use mortar on the bricks. I just used a little glue. But there you go. I even put a little fabric underneath because the sun could still hit in the middle and the grass would grow, and can't get the lawnmower through there, obviously. And I can weed eat at the edge, but I just figured a little fabric would keep the grass from growing up through there. Also keep fire ants and stuff from being able to get into the containers. That was another reason why I wanted to step, because with all the rain we had last year, a lot of my containers ended up with fire ants in them. Even if there were no plants in them, just they wanted a place to get out of the rising water, I guess. But I think with this, it'll definitely help keep the fire ants out. Sorry if I'm making you nauseous with all the moving. But you can see that brick right there. It's because with potatoes, the more dirt that ends up in that bucket, the heavier it's going to get and it's going to sag. So that's why that brick's there. The front one really doesn't need it. One, it's lower to the ground, and two, it's only going to be for carrots in those 2 potato buckets, and that shouldn't be too heavy. If it starts becoming too heavy, then I'll put a brick or 2x4 brace or something underneath there. You can even paint the bricks if you wanted, you know, greens and yellows or whatever your favorite color is. I actually thought about doing that, but opted out since that was more money. And the bricks I got for $1.45 a piece. The fabric I already had that was given to me. And this is like commercial fabric, but I did double it up just in case to make it thicker. A friend of mine had given me a big roll of that fabric about 3 or 4 years ago. It was 4 years ago because that's how long I've been gardening. And I've been using it ever since. And the 2x4s, I think they're right under $3 a piece. So, you know, I'll have the total of how much everything costs down in the description when I go to post this video for you. But I mean, it was relatively cheap, and if you have some spare 2x4s and cinder blocks, you know, you just throw it together and it keeps your containers off the ground. I think it also helps with drainage a little bit better too. But we'll give progress through the summer when those strawberry plants grow out.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, if you have any questions, throw them down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them, or you can shoot me an email. Either way, I'll get back to you pretty quickly. And I'm going to have some other updates. I built something last year that I haven't made a video on, and that's probably going to be my next video. I'm going to finally get off my hind end and do a video on it. It's called a spiral rock garden. And the whole purpose of me being out here today was to finish off starting my seeds and do this video. So I got to get back to work. But if you like it, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell notification. And peace and God bless. Have a good one.